lies being told about the coronavirus outbreak. Maybe the biggest lie of all has been that President Trump called it a hoax. He never did. He never called the coronavirus a hoax. He called the Democrats weaponizing coronavirus as a way to try to stop his reelection a hoax. But once more, any lie about Trump will do, because that's what they do. They're not able to beat him on facts, I guess, and on truth and on a great stock market, and until today, that is, and that'll be temporary. A booming economy, jobs growth, wage increases. They can't beat him on factual stuff. They're livid over the Supreme Court justices and the federal judiciary. They're furious at all the conservative accomplishments. And so they're going to try to stop him any way they can. And if coronavirus is the way to do it, I mean, why would that surprise you? They tried to impeach him over the biggest hoax of all time, that the Trump campaign colluded and conspired with the Russian government to try to impact the outcome of the election. It was determined to be a giant nothing burger. And we wasted millions of dollars and time and a lot of opportunity to advance the ball. So you shouldn't be surprised that they're trying to weaponize coronavirus as a way to hurt the president. The president tweeted this morning, the best decision made was the toughest of them all, which saved many lives. Our very early decision to stop travel to and from certain parts of the world. Of course, the president is reminding everybody that he did that because now he's being accused of failing to lead. Because there's nothing he can do that will give the Trump haters any degree of confidence that he's leading. They're going to say he's xenophobic. He shouldn't have banned travel from certain parts of the world initially. They said that, remember? Now they're saying he's not doing enough. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's flailing around. Sure, he doesn't have any of the best scientists, any of the top epidemiologists and physicians and scientists and experts on this. No, nobody's working. He's just flailing around in the West Wing of the White House. That's it. It's just Trump. That's all it is. Trump and Ivana. Melania and Ivanka. They're all sitting around just spitballing here. I mean, it's kind of sick to watch the lies. Here's another lie. If somebody gets this particular strain of coronavirus, it's all over. They're sick as a dog. They're in the hospital. They're going to die. That's another lie. The vast majority of people who test positive for coronavirus don't even exhibit symptoms. Maybe a mild cough and a low-grade fever for a day or two. That's it. That's it. You know, I'm not sure. Honest to goodness, I'm not trying to make this about me. Yeah, I got a big mouth and I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. I'm not sure I didn't have coronavirus. I don't think I do. I was in Washington for CPAC, never got in the door. As you probably heard, somebody at CPAC has tested positive for coronavirus, came in contact with Senator Ted Cruz. Senator Cruz is now self-quarantining in Texas, has no symptoms whatsoever. He did shake the guy's hand. They're not identifying or I don't know if it's a guy or a woman, they're not identifying who it is. Unless you're a U.S. senator, I guess then you get to find out who it is. Which, I guess that's understandable. There are a lot of people angry that this person hasn't been identified publicly. Well, they're probably trying to protect his or her privacy. I mean, if I have coronavirus, you'll know it because we'll have to set myself up in a studio somewhere and I'll be quarantined on the radio. I'll never leave the studio. I'll have to broadcast 24/7. Can you imagine? 24/7 of Team Gallagher? And of course, Eric and Pavlina and Derek and Joey and Lance, you'll all have to work 24/7 too, but remotely. We'll all work from home. I mean, there's big news, big impactful news today on the stock market. It got so bad at the opening, the stock trading had to be halted after the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 2,000 points. And of course, the media is screeching that it's all about coronavirus. It's all about the oil price war that's going on. The fact of the matter is we got the Saudis increasing oil production and slashing offering prices, which has led crude oil futures to plunge. So there's other things happening that are impacting the economy, but the media is going to do what the media does. They're going to panic. They want you to panic. That's why you can't find any hand sanitizer on the shelves, any wipes, any Clorox. They're all gone. It's the weirdest thing. Some of the most well-stocked stores that I visited all throughout Florida this weekend, all of those products are completely gone. Travel is way down. Concerts are being canceled. Schools are shutting down. There's the story of the guy, the lawyer from Westchester County, who traveled in and out of Grand Central Station, of all places. So it's really important here that we have a level head. I think I saw it was the Queen. I don't like to pay attention to anything about the royals, but the Queen's attitude is keep calm and carry on. And that's what we should do. And if you think you are in a risk group, don't take any chances. We all should wash our hands more often anyway. We all should not touch our face. And we shouldn't shake anybody's hands. I ain't shaking anybody's hand. I met some people over the weekend by the pool, great neighbors of mine, and they introduced me to another couple, and the guy stuck his hand out. I said, oh, sorry, I'm not shaking anybody's hand. But I'm going to be careful. And, you just want to make sure that you're smart. It's not smart, in my view, to pretend that nothing's happening. Okay? We ought to be realistic, and we ought to be truthful, and we ought to be real here. You don't see this news about, the plunging stock market is real. I get that a lot of it has to do with the Saudis and the oil prices, but the coronavirus thing plays into this too. The airline industry are losing tons of money. I had a friend who was going to go perform in a concert in California over the weekend. As he got in the train to go to Newark Airport, they called him and canceled it. They're canceling concerts. They're canceling events. Sporting events are going to have no fans in the stands. Italy has got millions and millions of people locked down. But we're going to ride this thing out, and we're going to survive it, and we're going to be okay. And I want to reiterate things that are truths. Here's a truth. If you happen to get, and a lot of people are going to test positive. I don't think there's any question, as they have 4 million testing kits that are going to be made available in the United States by the end of next week, I think. In the next week to 2 weeks, there's going to be millions more testing kits. Because a lot of places, when I was sick in D.C. with the flu, they asked me when I checked in to one of those walk-in clinics on the little iPad that you fill out, which, by the way, everybody touches. Speaking of touching, everybody, unless you're wearing gloves, you're going to touch you're going to get the germs of the person who filled out the thing on the iPad before you. But that's how they do it now in the doctor's office. You do your fingers on a touch screen for an iPad. And the very first thing that popped up when I registered as a new patient, have you traveled to China or any of the hugely impacted countries that are dealing with coronavirus? First thing they asked me. The question, now, it would have been interesting if I would have said yes. I wonder what they would have done. They took my temperature. I had a fever. They tested for flu. The flu test was negative, but the doctor told me that isn't always a good indicator, and I think you do have the flu. Sick in bed for a few days. So, that stuff, there's a pragmatic question here. Well, what happens if you test positive? I believe that many people will be testing positive. I think this time next week, I'll be able to hear from callers who are going to call this show and tell me they tested positive. Maybe you're going to be quarantined. And as in most cases, you're not going to even have that many symptoms. You're going to have a mild cough, you're going to have a low-grade fever, and you're going to be fine. The flu is much worse. The flu kills many more people than coronavirus. But let's not close our eyes, stick our heads in the sand, and pretend that this isn't a real world event. Does that make sense? To me, it's just a balance here. It's knowing how not to panic, not to overreact, not to shut down your life, and carry on. But also acknowledge that there is this novel virus that came from Wuhan, China. It's why a lot of people call it the Wuhan virus, which is fine with me. If you feel better calling it the Wuhan, some people say that's racist. It's not racist. Wuhan isn't a race. It's a city. It's where it came from. And CNN used to call it the Wuhan virus until they decided it would make the Trump administration look racist to call it the Wuhan virus. Now CNN is saying that's racist because they're never going to miss an opportunity to bash this president. We know that. We accept that. And all that's going to matter is November the 3rd when we beat them again. And if and when we beat them, maybe, as the president said, they will finally shut the heck up and get out of the way and try to let this country continue to advance.